Hello, and welcome to Have a Chat. We are back after hiatus, a wonderful Christmas holiday and New Year's break. I'm Judy Loche, your host for today's show, joined by my beautiful co-host, Veronique Arsenault.
I don't know how it's 2024.
Happy New Year, Vera.
I know, Happy New Year, Judy. It's great to be back. We had a nice little break over the holidays, spent some time with friends and family, and
we did
get a little bit of rest, not sleep, but rest.
No, we don't sleep. Everybody knows that by now.
Yeah.
But we'll talk more about our holiday and our family time and get-togethers shortly. But we always start our show off with a quote, and Veronique, you're on.
Yeah, so, and you and I have talked about it. We've also, seen posts on Facebook and stuff like that, or other social medias as well about, New Year, New Me, that kind of stuff. And I'm not a huge fan of New Year, New Me.
Me neither.
Right? It's what can I work on this year that I want to achieve or do or be or whatever.
Yes.
So anyway, but this quote kind of spoke to me. So each new year, we have before us a brand new book containing 365 blank pages. Let us fill them with all the forgotten things from last year. The words we forgot to say, the love we forgot to show, and the charity we forgot to offer. From Peggy Tony Horton.
That's quite beautiful.
I thought so.
That holds a lot of meaning.
Yeah.
In so many different ways, because we do have those, well, we're shortening now, but 365 days of the year is a long year.
Yeah.
And you and I mostly have every day filled. Yeah. Like we don't have to go and say, what should I be able to do this month? It's like, okay,
no.
January 1st, it's full. February is full. There's the odd time I have nothing on my plate.
Yeah.
But like you said, this new year, new you almost indicates that you have to do a total makeover of yourself and not and super achieve. That's what I get out of that, and I just do me.
Yeah.
That's what I'm best at, and there's certainly things that I want to work on.
Absolutely.
And as far as the charity goes, we all give what we can give. We all do what we can do.
Yep.
Even if it's just a little bit to somebody that's in need. I think that we're doing our part.
Absolutely.
And what was the other component of that? The love.
The love, the words we forgot to say, the love we forgot to give, and the charity that we
I give love to everybody, but I do find it hard, like to say, which I love you.
Yeah.
I love you, Veronique.
Yeah.
Why is that? I can say it to my
I
kids,
know.
look them in the face of my dog and say, I love you so much.
I know.
But we don't even do it to our significant others half the
No,
time. Like,
I
I
know.
just love you. Because I think they take it for granted.
Yes. Well, and I think, I think too, we always assume that like, I love you, right?
Exactly.
But it's funny that you say that because Christmas night, so we had Mom home during the day on Christmas Eve and during the day on Christmas Day, and it was good. We had Mom is struggling a bit, but that's okay. But we had a wonderful couple of days together, and so I had cooked just a massive turkey and a massive ham on Christmas Day, and we had great friends of our family, the Steinmas down and everything, and it was wonderful. And then I got home that night, so like I had been cooking all day. Like we got down there at 8 o'clock. I had been cooking all day, and I got home and I was sitting in front of the fire and I was watching a movie, and I had the dogs all cuddled up, and the phone rang, and it was Dad. And Dad is not a real mushy fella.
Nope.
He's all military.
He hasn't told me he loves me yet.
He's all military, right?
I know.
And so he phones and he says, it was a really, really good supper today. And I said, thanks, Papa, and so we go between Papa, Pops, and Dad.
Yeah.
And I said, thanks, Papa. And he goes, well, I love you. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, those three words at that very moment meant the world.
Because it was such a thing for him. Like he said, I don't tell you enough.
Aw,
So I was like, thanks.
That's what your quote's exactly about, saying and doing the things that you really feel in your heart.
Yeah.
I love it.
One of my girlfriends, and I absolutely love that she does it. No matter where we are, no matter what we're doing, like, I could tell her I started a new skincare, Samantha.
Yes.
I could tell her I started new skincare this week, and she'd say, I'm so proud of you.
I love it.
And I feel it every time she says it.
Yeah.
And like, we'll be out for supper and she'll just, I love you.
That's just beautiful.
And it warms my heart. I love it. And she's so genuine.
Yes.
Because I'm not typically that,
verbal
about it, but I always say it back to her because I love you.
I love to hear that. That's really, really nice, and especially amongst friends. We do love each other. We just don't say it and show it enough sometimes. What do you think of our weather so far? Don't you think we're blessed compared to Western Canada? Like, holy smokes!
So I was out walking on bare pave with green grass on the 26th of December, and I realized that there's an entire industry built around snow and all of that, and I understand that people are so passionate. I do. I was loving the Bear Pave,
Yes,
I'll be
me
honest.
too.
We can't really complain though. Our January's been pretty good.
Insignificant.
Yeah.
Really. And we've got it's been unbelievable, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, in Edmonton yesterday or the day before, the airport temp was minus 51 in that area, and with the wind chill it was minus 61.
No.
And they're getting, there's pipes freezing.
Of
One of
course.
the BC ER hospitals, the pipe froze. They had to transport all the patients out of that ER into another facility.
Yeah.
We just should count our blessings every day.
Absolutely, because we've had a typically a much milder January than we normally would. We normally are starting to get those minus 40 temps. Plus, we haven't had the significant snowfall. We've had a couple of storms for sure, but not the significant snowfall that we would normally have had by now.
We'll take it, right?
I know.
Veronica, speaking of airports, did you happen to see or hear about the Alaskan airline, the 737 Boeing?
No.
That was in midair when the window blew out towards the back of the airplane.
No.
With 177 passengers and crew on board.
I would throw up.
Well, it was unbelievable because nobody was injured. They were headed to a place I didn't even know existed, Ontario, California. Did you know there was Ontario in California?
No, I didn't.
Okay, well, that's where they were headed.
Okay.
And they had to touch down in Portland, Oregon because of this crazy situation. And there was one boy, I don't know how old he was, his t-shirt was literally ripped off of his body and out the window, and his mom was hanging on to him because she didn't want to lose him out the window. And one man's cell phone went flying out the window, but that's all that happened, and that could have been tragedy.
That's incredible.
But
do they know why the window did?
There was something with fuel
Malfunction.
It was something weird, but they have had a history, that particular jet, of having like very bad safety issues. It's kind of like an ongoing thing. So
I'm about to book a flight today, and I'm like,
Are
oh my
you?
goodness.
Yeah. Would you ever think about being a flight attendant? Has that ever been one of your thoughts?
Yeah, it was at one point when I was young.
Young, me too.
Because it just seemed now that I know more of what they do, it does not seem as glamorous. Seems like such incredibly hard work.
Yeah.
But it just seemed so glamorous, and it seemed
did.
like you could travel to all of these places. But now
That's it.
now with social media, you can kind of see like the behind the scenes and what they have to do every day and put up with every day, and and how their work schedules work, and
The abuse they take when passengers are rowdy and having some drinks and shooting off their mouths.
It just seems like a very difficult job with not a lot of perks, I'll be honest.
No. They touch down, but like the jet lag and everything, I'm sure they're accustomed to more than I ever am.
Yeah.
But like, for example, you've traveled for what? I've traveled for 14 hours straight.
Yes, absolutely.
To other countries, and I'm thinking to myself, these women do this, and these gentlemen like every day.
Well, they work.
Like on their feet.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Yeah.
Serving people.
Absolutely.
So let's get back to our holiday
Yes.
happenings. And for me, it was overindulgence. I'll tell you right now.
Absolutely.
I had company from December 24th when my son and his girlfriend arrived because they'd been to her place at Nova Scotia, and then they went back to celebrate. But her birthday's December 23rd. Emma's
I didn't
and
realize
Jansen's is
that.
December 24th, so they celebrate their birthday on December 24th with us.
Yes.
And then they kind of hung out and Christmas Day and then left, and then Evan and Jamie had to both work. They came from Halifax as soon as Jansen and Emma left, so then they were there, and I loved every minute of it. They left on January 2nd.
Yes.
And they were together at some point, all of us at once, which was beautiful.
Yeah.
And lots of parties and lots of Christmas swaps, Yankee swaps, and food.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I'm not back on track.
I'm not either, I'll be honest.
No, I'll be honest.
So one of the things, absolutely I had the same. There was gap. So from the last week in November until the 24th of December, I was at a meeting or an event every night. And I mean that very literally.
I believe
every night. And so, which it was wonderful to see the people that I got to see, but a lot of it involved food, right?
Oh, yes.
And then of course everybody is wonderful and kind, and they bring you like a box of chocolates or cookies that they made, and of course you eat them because they're delicious, right? So at one point I'm looking at the island in my kitchen, I'm going, I don't think I've eaten a vegetable in like 3 weeks, but anyway, so it was absolutely overindulgence. I did okay for the first couple weeks, and then it just went right off track, which is fine. And I actually, my biggest thing was not to beat myself up.
Look, you know what? I just went for it. And you know what? For once, not once, it's every single holiday, Christmas time, I splurge and I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
If it's a Scotch cake for breakfast, that's what I want. If it's chocolates at 7 a.m., I'll take them. I have no control, and I'll admit it, and I don't care.
You texted me and you're like, I just had 3 Scotch cakes for breakfast.
I did, and I was having like blueberry crisp, like at
I had a brownie.
So, but I didn't care.
No.
I thought this is not my usual life or routine, so I'm just going to say to heck with it all, enjoy it all, and feel like crap after the sugar low crashes.
Absolutely, absolutely. But you know what? The one thing I've continued to do, even when I was, overindulging, was I still, without fail, walk every day.
Good for
every day.
you.
I do between 7 and 10 kilometers a day.
There you go.
Every day, without fail. And and it's fun. I set a goal for myself September 1st.
Yeah.
And at the time, I'd only set the goal for to do 30 days of 10,000 steps or more, which is about 7 kilometers for me. So I started September 1st, and I'm still to this day, have managed every day to do 10,000 steps or more.
I could leave you a chocolate trail.
Yes.
I could leave you a chocolate trail, but and you could just pick up all these goodies along the way.
I have continued. So today actually was the first day where I ate a breakfast that did not involve baked goods.
Okay, don't ask me what I had. Don't ask me what I had.
It's okay.
But have you set, I'm not a New Year's resolution girl. I just say, if it's February 10th, I take the notion to do something that's improving on myself or doing a project that I think is worthwhile. That's the day I decide to do it, not January 1st.
Yeah.
You put too much pressure on yourself by establishing that, let's do it today and get it done.
Yeah.
And
then if you fall off, then it's like you failed.
You do.
Yeah.
What's up for you? What's your long term? Do you have anything personally that you want to achieve or otherwise?
Yeah, for me, it's the last couple of years have been about this, and it's mainly been because of Mom's illness, to be honest with you. So, a lot of it involved, doing things with Mom so that I would have those memories long after she didn't, right? And she's in that advanced Alzheimer's now and has progressed really quickly over the last couple of months. But for me, it's a continuation of that. I have enough stuff at home. In fact, I'm actually getting rid of stuff now.
Yeah.
And for me, it's about continuing to make memories with the people I love, friends and family and Mom and Dad and all of that and all of you, so that, that's what carries me through my life. And, people have often said to me, oh my goodness, you post all your pictures on social media. I do, because next year I'm going to look back and say, oh, look, today was the day I brought Jude home 2 years ago. So for me, it's because it evokes those memories for me, and I get that same joy as I got when those things happened the first time. And so for me, it's just about continuing to do things that challenge me, that, give me energy and make me feel like I'm living my life the best I can.
That's beautiful, Veronique. That's a really nice take on everything. Yeah. And I'm with you on the being there with family and friends, the people I love the most. But my thing right now is to prioritize. It sounds very self-centered. I put others ahead of myself, and my parents are, if you're watching the show, you will always come first.
Yeah.
And but for myself, I think sometimes, because I know so many people as you do, that one person out there thinks that I have time to connect with them a lot.
Yep.
And so the next person thinks the same thing, and so does the next person. So they don't realize that there are hundreds of people trying to, do you want to go for a coffee, or I need your advice on this, or I feel I'm pulled in so many directions, I have to step back.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know how to cut people off and say, I can try to make some time for people, but I can't be there for everybody all of the time. The expressions, you can't be everything to everybody.
Absolutely.
It's how to do that.
Yeah. Well, it's tougher, right? It's tougher, especially because you and I are much alike in this way, that we both get our energy from being around other people, right? People. But what happens, and I know that it's happening more to you as well, is that it's also not that people are a drain.
Yes, they are. You're draining me, folks.
Not in a bad way, but it's
just on live TV. Yes, they are draining.
but there's a point. So the last 2 weeks, right, since Christmas was over and New Year's was over, I actually haven't gone out very much. I haven't left the house very much. For meetings that I've had to, and I go see Mom every day. But most evenings, if I can manage it, I'm actually staying home, got a fire on, got the dogs cuddled up, and I'm watching a movie. Something that's gonna, like, I'm trying to recharge my batteries because I know that February is a really busy month for me.
Good for you to do that.
I'm traveling a couple times for work and for other things, and you know, and like there's a lot going on, and that's really when things kind of ramp back up. But I'm trying really hard, and it's hard, and I know it's hard to say no. And the other thing I'll admit to, and this one's a hard one for me. I have decided, so I see Mom just about every day.
I know.
Because she is my best friend, even though that our relationship has changed, she is still my best friend. But I've decided that on Sundays I don't go.
No.
To have a day that is you know, just what I want to do, not something that I, you know, feel that I have to do. And it's tough to go see Mom. I adore her.
Oh, don't even get me started on how emotional that must make you and how hard that is to watch.
It's tough.
You're bright, vivacious, all loving, very, you know, able to converse with you on any level person, regress with the terrible disease of Alzheimer's.
Absolutely.
And I find when I go see her that I love her, and I try my best to be very normal and keep it all very level. But when I leave from there, I feel very down, and I'm very disheartened because I know the person she was, and then I see the person she is.
Absolutely.
And the in-between time, all you can do is try to keep it as focused and, like you said, endearing as you can to keep those memories.
All I can do is love her, right? All I can do is love her, and she still loves me, and she still knows me, which is great. It's everything else in between that is really tough. So I've had to cut myself a bit of slack and say it's okay if there's one day a week that you don't go.
Totally, absolutely,
you know.
Vernie.
And the first few times I didn't go on that one day, it was really hard. Really
Guilty?
hard. Yeah,
kind of.
A lot of guilt.
But you're adjusting to being in your home alone without her.
That's the other thing.
You're adjusting now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because when your person has moved out and it's all new to you, but you do have your 2 fur babies.
I do, and I have wonderful friends, and I have amazing neighbors. Like, my neighbors watch out for me every day.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I'm lucky.
Neighbors are great.
Neighbors are great.
So, Veronique, we're going to cut to break, and for our viewers, do not go too far. We have a wonderful guest with a surprise guest accompanying that guest very soon. Don't go far. Hello and welcome back to Have a Chat. If you've missed the earlier part, we're back after a lovely Christmas, New Year's holiday, Veronique and I. I'm hosting for today's show, Judy Loche, with my best half, Veronique Arsenault.
So glad to be back.
Yeah, happy holiday overtime now. Happy New Year, everybody. And we have a very special, wonderful guest with us today. First time ever on the set, Jody Hashi, who I have had the pleasure of knowing since you were 5 years old.
Yes.
And graduated with my son, Evan. So I've watched you grow and become an adult.
Yes.
And you're here to represent K9 River Rescue.
Correct.
You've brought a very gorgeous friend with you.
This is my sweet girl, Lucy Lou.
Lucy Lou.
She has been everywhere with me.
Well, she's simply outstanding.
I think she's smarter than I am. As I look into her gorgeous
she is smarter
eyes.
than most humans.
Yeah, as
She
I
is
look into her
so
gorgeous
gorgeous
eyes, I'm
and
pretty sure.
Beautiful dog. What type of dog is she?
She's an Australian Shepherd Border Collie.
And how old?
She's 7.
7 years old.
Yeah.
Lucy's our first dog on set.
She is.
So there we go. We made a landmark.
I know, and I taught Jody in high school.
Oh my God.
Crazy.
It's crazy.
It feels like yesterday, but then it feels like 100 years ago.
I know, but it's not. Jody, I've known you and Veronique for a long time, but for the viewers who don't know you, tell us a few things about your life, personal stuff they might want to find interesting.
So I was born and raised here in Miramichi, and then at 21 I decided to go away for a little bit and kind of find myself, and then I found myself in dog rescue. Is where I really found myself. I have an older brother, Corey.
Yes.
My mother has deceased in 2013, and my dad is still alive, and he's down in Tracadie. But I just recently got back, roughly about 5 months ago, here in Miramichi, and I'm really happy to be home.
Well, we're happy to have you.
Connect with some friends and family again, so be more present. I have a little nephew, he's 8 years old, and he's my world.
He is beautiful.
Oh my goodness.
I saw pictures and I think I want him and the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's quite a few that would love to take Lucy home. My goodness, she's a good girl.
It's quite a thing though to be into the dog rescue.
I know. I can't even imagine. It's she's amazing, and you know, and I followed you on social media, and I love, you know, everything that you've been doing over the last number of years. But tell us all about Canine River Rescue. How'd you get started? You know, talk to us about that journey for you.
So when I first started into dog rescuing, I was with other rescues, and I was helping basically with the networking part on social media. Texas rescues, they aren't very well known here, so I have a huge variety of friends. I know a lot of people because of who my parents are and stuff like that. So what I started doing was networking their dogs and started working with them, and then I became really close with them. And they actually invited me down April 2 years ago now to just come for a visit. It was only a 5-day trip all by myself.
Where in Texas?
St. Angelo, Texas.
Okay.
So it's right mid-center Texas.
Okay.
So they invited me down there to go see the other side of things, because being a dog rescuer, there's one side and then there's the other side. So I went down there, they took me to shelters, and it was probably the hardest thing I ever did. And then I came back home, and I decided that I wanted to try and just go with it. And I took off. They picked me up at the border in Woodstock, and Lucy and I moved to Texas.
Aww.
Yeah.
And I remember when you did that, I was like, holy cow.
Yeah. It was a big deal. Even my family was like, Jody, what are you doing? And I'm like, trust me.
Yeah.
Trust me.
I
need to do this.
Yeah.
I needed to do it for myself. So we got on the bus, and away we went. And I tried to get my immigration, and unfortunately that didn't work out. So there's a big deal with that. So I came back, and you know, but being out there, I got to experience so many different things while I was there.
Tell us a few things about it.
I got to be secondhand to a vet doing spay and neuters.
Oh, wow.
I got to prep the dogs, give them vaccines. I learned how to give vaccines. I learned how to give microchips. I learned certain things about dogs, like when they're sick, what kind of medicine to give them.
Wow.
Yeah. And I definitely learned how to approach more rescues, because rescue dogs, they've been through a lot, and people don't understand that.
Yeah.
They've come from a terrible place, especially Texas in specific. It's awful.
Well, and we have a
Breaks
ton
my
of other
heart.
questions, but one of those kind of side questions, I guess, that I have is that we seem to see, or I do, seem to see so many rescue dogs coming out of
Yeah.
Texas.
Yeah.
Why?
Irresponsible people. Honest
It's
to
people,
goodness,
right?
they don't spay and neuter their animals, and then they just let them go, and you know,
Yeah.
kind of works.
And then there's
out.
more of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how that circle happens. But like I would say, there's for one person, there's 100 dogs in Texas.
What?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It's outrageous. Homeless dogs that were born into a cruel world, and people got them and didn't realize the responsibility.
Yeah.
Well, to me, I have 3 dogs, and they are my kids. They're part of my family.
They
They
are
are
family.
my family.
Yeah.
And people don't understand how much responsibility they are. Like
Yeah.
cats, I love cats, but you can leave them.
Yeah.
You can change their litter box, you can leave them with water and food for a week, and they're fine. Dogs, they have to be attended every day.
They
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. So,
I can't even imagine doing that.
yeah.
No.
Especially being a dog lover. Like when you see these dogs so undernourished and so beaten up and so like just unkept and struggling and tortured basically and not loved, that would kill me. I don't think I could do that.
No, and I can't even imagine what it's like, you know, as a
That's one of the
rescuer.
reasons why I came home too, is because this soft Canadian heart wasn't built for that hard
It would
life.
take a toll.
No.
It would. It would.
It
take
was
a toll.
my mentality,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
I was becoming depressed.
Yeah.
I'd never seen so much death in my life.
Yeah.
Like
And
it was
hardship.
just,
I can't even imagine.
Lucy, well, do you have to say anything? Do you have anything to say for yourself?
She's like, I am a rock star.
She says, I was always the boss dog. She said, I was the one that kept everybody in line on our transports when we transported the dogs here.
Service
Yeah.
dog.
Yeah.
Beautiful girl.
Yeah.
Veronique and I are dog lovers.
Yes.
Veronique's had some episodes with dogs that we mightn't have time to talk about, but some bad experiences as them being attacked. We don't want to get into that and traumatize her again. But we did not rescue dogs. However, I had certain dogs in mind that I kind of gravitated towards, a certain breed that I loved and that drew me in, and Veronique as well. So we didn't rescue, but why is it so important to rescue? People don't often think that it is really crucial.
Rescue dogs, they're born into a world with no chance, basically. dogs that you get from breeders are extremely responsible. They check your references. They tell you that if anything happens, I'm taking the dog back, you know, stuff like that. Well, rescue dogs, they're strays. People get a new job and decide that they want to just move on without the dog, and they drop them off at kill shelters. Unfortunately, Texas has all kill shelters.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
So the way it works in the shelters there is, say they have 50 pens and there's 50 dogs there. When another dog comes in, the dog that's been there the longest, that dog gets killed for the next dog to come in.
See that just...
And it's a terrible circle.
Wow.
It is.
That's awful.
Yeah.
I couldn't mentally handle that.
No, and I don't think I could either. And Dad's first dog, when he first came home, Labda, was a rescue. And I'll never forget, we got him from the SPCA in Moncton. He was 9. And he had been given up twice.
Poor baby.
He was the most perfect dog I have ever seen in my life.
I know.
He was a Labrador Dalmatian mix, and
Wow.
he was Dad's soul doggy for sure. And we had him until he was 16.
Yeah, he was a beautiful dog.
And he and Dad were meant to be together. But he had been given up twice, and I don't know. He had lived with his first family until he was 7.
Wow.
And then they
And
gave him
then-
up. So I just can't even imagine how that happens. Like I have it in my will what should happen with my 2 dogs.
Me too.
If something should
Am I getting all 3?
yes, all of them.
Maybe I should.
Zara
I
will lose her
love
mind.
dogs, but not love.
Yeah, but I do. I have it in my will that, you know, my dear friend who is a dog trainer has to find them a home together.
Good.
You know, in case something happened to me before they go, right?
Yes.
Before,
And people ask me, why are you asking me to take, because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow.
No.
Tomorrow's not promised.
That's
yeah,
right, Jody.
absolutely. So what have been some of the hardest, and you touched on a couple of them, but what have been some of the hardest things that you've had to deal with, like as a dog rescue worker?
Definitely the heartbreak for sure. In Texas too, parvo is very common for puppies in shelters. And when you get puppies and you rescue them out of a shelter, they're prone to have it, which is very hard. And I went through, I lost some puppies. It was very hard. I couldn't understand, like this tiny little puppy just there, dead, nothing left to it. And I just couldn't understand why. Because they were born into a world where they had no chance. And I was trying to give them a chance. But one thing was they knew that they were loved because I loved them until they took their last breath.
I'm making cry, Jody.
Sorry.
It is. It's a big deal to do what you're doing.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
It was definitely the most hardest 1.5 years of my life, even to losing Mom, which you guys know I lost my mom.
I loved your mom.
It was extremely hard, the obstacles that I was faced with for sure. Just
too much.
But
really.
It made me learn so much more. Like this past Christmas, I almost lost one of my other dogs, Ruger. He decided to chew a little something he wasn't supposed to.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Oh my gosh.
And it was $4,000
Yes.
to save his life.
See, I know, I've been there.
Yeah.
But he was totally worth it. You know what I mean?
That was
I
Christmas,
have insurance on both mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have insurance
Christmas
on
Day,
both
he
mine.
went into major surgery, and they didn't know if he was going to survive or not.
So you have 3 dogs, and he's your first?
No, he's my youngest.
Your baby.
Yeah.
And they are babies. They're children. I consider them children. I pamper them and talk to them like, you know, look at her looking at me. Yes, I love you. George, just how come you don't talk to me like that? I know. Just like,
Dad does the same
like a
thing.
lunatic, really.
Dad's like, why are you talking to the dogs like that? I'm like, because they live with me.
Baby talk.
Yeah.
But now, so like I said, we did not rescue, but how, if we wanted to, like I'd have the fear, as anybody would, as to why, what are the important things we have to know about a dog coming in, you know, that we don't know anything about? Like, how does it work when you want to go rescue and bring in that forever dog?
Okay, so I'm working with a big rescue now. It's called Barking Mad Animal Rescue. Barking Mad Animal Rescue.
Okay.
We're based completely off of Facebook. So if you're looking to rescue a dog, message me on Facebook. I get tons of people on Facebook.
Okay.
But basically we network them on Facebook and adopt them out. We put everything, like we assess our dogs first. We have some dogs that have had rehabilitation, so that have had issues where we've had to work with them more and stuff like that. But basically they would see the post on Facebook, comment on it, and then we have a screening process. So they have to fill out the application, yes, and we do our due diligence because we don't want our dogs to come here and fail. And we make sure that, say for example, that dog they were inquiring, we thought, it's not the right pick. Let us help you find the right pick for your family. Because it is so hard. Rescue dogs, they come from being abandoned to on the streets, to be abandoned on kill shelters. When they finally get a home, we want that to be forever. Like that's what they deserve. They don't deserve to be shuffled around again.
But you tell everybody if they have hip dysplasia or if they have the temperament problem. But how do you get time to work with all these dogs? Like, do you have other people obviously with you working with them? If they're out of control type dogs and they're barkers and they're chewers and biters, what's that look like?
So I assist other rescues in Texas, and they're the ones that assess the dogs and everything like that. We work very close every day. I talk to them. We have several conversations about dogs, just chit chatting. How's your day? Stuff like that. How's this dog? How's that dog? But there's several rescues I work with. I would say about 3 to 4 right now that I'm helping network them. So Canine River Rescue, I want it to be help everybody. Like right now I'm more central to Texas just because this rescue reached out to me and they said, we really need your help. We have over 400 dogs. It's a very big rescue facility. And they deserve their chance too. So that's why I kind of...
Well, and I think, a lot of the posts that I've seen, it really is about matching the right dog with the right person, right? And so, I've often seen it has to be the only dog, is good with cats, or needs an experienced, person or whatever. So I think, and that's, it's really about finding the right person with the right dog.
And one thing about us and our rescue is we're very straight point. We don't go around the bushes, nothing like that. We tell people how it is and we're very truthful about it. Because I know some rescues, they aren't as open about that kind of stuff, which I believe it's not right because these dogs, they come from terrible lives and you want to make sure it's 100% that, they're going to be treated like a family member.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think, and that's a lot of the struggle too, I think, with dogs that might typically not have a great reputation, like for a breed. It's trendy right now to rescue certain types of dogs and then treat them like babies, right? And I think oftentimes what happens, or sometimes, is that they're not rescued by the right person for them, and then it creates issues.
And that does happen. We do get dogs that come here that we try to place them, and we think it's the perfect match, and it's just not working out. Which, excuse me, then we take them. We have fosters here. We have quite a bit actually coming this transport that arrives this Friday.
Oh, okay.
There's roughly about 50 dogs coming up.
Wow.
So we do delivery in Woodstock, New Brunswick, and Dieppe, New Brunswick.
Cool.
So the adopters meet us there, and we get to meet them all and offload the dogs and all that stuff. It is the best day
but it must
of
be
the
so emotional.
year.
But it's huge. It's huge. I don't think I could do that.
Arrival day and delivery day is the best day of the year.
It's like Christmas, eh, Jody?
Oh, more than that.
I had a chat with Jody because I know we're off the air one day, and I was saying about my first dog that I went out to buy a pizza, and I came home with a dog. So I should never have done that because I didn't want that dog. I mean, I wanted it at the moment. I saw it in the window. I was like, how much is that dog in the window?
Right.
I ended up with a dog that didn't really suit me. That was a chewer, a biter, a peer. She didn't like the rain. I couldn't tolerate her. And guess what? Remember?
I remember.
I gave her to another home because I could not deal with that particular type of dog. She wasn't my kind of dog.
But you found her another home.
And then I found her a good home. But my boys were quite devastated. But I said, guys, you're not helping. You're not interested in doing the things we need to do.
Quite young.
They were young. But I felt terribly guilty. And then I realized down the road that she was very loved. That she was going to be able to roam and run down to Bay de Vin on the beach, as opposed to me, being a cranky pot.
One thing I get from people, they ask me is, like, I'll give you an example. The very first mother dog with puppies that I rescued, she was stuck under her shed and couldn't get her puppies out, and we got a call that morning. This is in Texas, was where I was. the property owner and said, there's a mother dog and 6 puppies under my shed. You have until tonight or they're all getting shot.
Oh my gosh. So we have to go to break, and we don't want any sad stories because you're doing phenomenal work. Lucy, Jody, it's been a pleasure. Come back
Thank you
again
so
and
much
see
for
us.
having
We're
us.
going to break.
Thank you,
Please
ladies.
come back for 2 more guests very soon.
Thank you. Okay.
Hello and welcome back to our last segment of Have a Chat. If you're just joining us, I'm your host for today's show, Judy Loche, joined by my bestie, Veronique Arsenault.
So glad to be back with you, Judy, after our little break.
Yeah, it was a nice little hiatus, and I hope
Absolutely.
everyone's doing well out there watching our show. And thanks for coming back in the new year to watch us some more. We're very pleased to be part of the Rogers team. So now we have 2 first-time guests. Were you ever on before?
I was with the library board.
Oh,
One
yes, of
time.
course, yeah.
So one of these lovely guests has joined us before, but the other has not. We have with us Elizabeth and Rachel Butler representing the Miramichi Regional Hospital, our very own. And Rachel is executive member of the auxiliary, and Elizabeth is here as manager of the gift shop at the hospital. So welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
I got these great big goggles on, but I think I'll just take them off to be a little bit more relaxed for the moment.
Hard to follow after fur baby Lucy, though.
Yes.
I didn't know if anybody knew we were on the show.
I know we were all in love with her. I think.
Yeah, you're a dog lover.
Yeah.
So
Beautiful.
I know you ladies. I think Veronique does too. But for those viewers who do not, Rachel, tell us a few things about yourself, your background, lifestyle.
Well, I'm a lifelong Miramichier. Graduated from high school at St. Mary's and then community college, and then went on to work at the school district.
Right.
And unlike a lot of young people today, I had a career with the school district.
A long time. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I started out as the superintendent secretary and then retired as the director of finance and administration.
Smart lady.
It was a wonderful career.
Well, that's
amazing.
good to know
Yeah.
that people love their job and end on a good note.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know, it's not like I
Definitely.
can't wait to get out of there. Some people are just, but you
No.
enjoyed it.
Yeah.
really enjoyed
That's
it.
amazing.
Elizabeth, yourself?
I'm a lifelong Miramichier. Love my little city.
Yeah.
I retired after, I think, about 40 years. I worked in the provincial government and then the federal, and in between there was the mill. So anyway, I had a good life, a good career as well. I have 2 girls, grown girls, 3 grandchildren, and 1 on the way.
No, I didn't know that about
Life
you.
is good.
Life
Yeah.
is good. Nice, nice. So we all had a great holiday and spent time with our loved ones, and
Yeah.
now we're back to reality
I
again.
know. I still can't believe it's 2024.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened, but
I believe today is the 15th.
I
The
know.
month.
You girls have so much happening in your lives
I know,
too.
I know. So, Rachel, give us a bit of the history about the Miramichi Regional Hospital Auxiliary and the role that it plays.
It started out as the Miramichi Hospital Aid in 1919.
wow.
What
And
year?
the hospital aid, 1919.
1919.
In the
I
Miramichi-
remember that.
I feel like I do.
Yeah, at the Miramichi Hospital.
Yeah.
And it was based in Newcastle, but they had small organizations from Nelson to Bay d'Avin, every place in between, from Tavistock to Blackville.
Oh,
And they helped out by buying equipment. They bought linens. Every fall they had jam and jelly and pickling day, and they put those in the pantry.
Oh my goodness.
And
Right.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah. And they gradually decided to form the auxiliary by joining the volunteers, the aid, and the clubs.
Okay.
And then they went on. I think it was 1924. They had given $1,200 to the hospital, which would be a lot of money.
That
in
would have been
today's
right.
money.
Huge donation.
That would have
Yeah.
been monumental at the time, I'm sure.
And the board at the time was so impressed that they changed their bylaws so that there would be a member of the auxiliary on their board. And that continues. Our current president, Don Savoy, is the representative on the foundation
Oh
board.
my goodness.
And you are treasurer.
Treasurer. Yes.
Which
Okay.
is a juicy job too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Trying to keep track of all the money.
Yes, I can imagine.
Oh, it's so nice to be part of that auxiliary though, with the history
It
behind
is.
it and still
Yes.
going strong.
I didn't know anything about it when they approached me to join, but this is my 20th year.
Oh,
20 years.
really?
Yeah. Well, congratulations on that.
Yeah.
Elizabeth, the gift shop. Tell us, when you first became involved and then what it took or how long it took you to become manager.
Yes. Well, I'd always known about the auxiliary because Rachel had been on it, so I knew what they did. And I had an interest in the gift shop, but I was working full-time. So each time the position came up, it wasn't the right time. So I was approaching retirement, and it came up again. So I thought, well, I'm going to apply. And I can't believe that's 5 years ago. I'm in my fifth year.
I can't
So,
either.
Yeah, and it's fun. Yeah.
And for anyone that didn't know, that they're the Butler sisters. They're not just
Yeah.
related.
Yeah.
Rachel and Elizabeth, they're sisters in
Yeah.
case, anybody might not have known that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So Rachel, as Judy mentioned, you're the treasurer of the auxiliary. So how many members of the auxiliary are there? And like, how often do you meet? What do you,
We have 14 active members right now.
Good.
And we meet every month except the month of December and the summer months.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, and then we have an annual general meeting, usually in January, but it's going to be February, early February
Yeah.
this year.
so quite active.
Yes, we are
Yeah,
active.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
COVID kind of put paid to a number of
Yeah.
things, and we used to have like bake sales and teas and things like that,
Yes.
but that had to go by the board with COVID.
Yeah.
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 So-
COVID was hard on so many organizations and people in general. I find we're just seem to be starting to come back to some
Somewhat
some
normalcy?
semblance of
Yes,
normalcy.
yes.
Like you still kind of have that. Oh,
Heaviness?
do I really want to do that, or should I do that?
No.
Because COVID's still out there, right?
Yeah,
like
that's
it's
right.
it's not
Yeah,
gone, and
no.
just like the flu's not gone either, and all those things. So you kind of you still have a bit of that heaviness, I find.
So tell us about the gift shop itself. Your volunteers, for example, and how it works and the hours and just how it runs there.
Yeah, we've got the best group of volunteers, and they've been there forever. And we've also got some new ones on. And we're so fortunate we couldn't run without them because we had 3 shifts per day, so that meant 3 volunteers every single day.
Yeah.
And so we put it down. The hours used to be 9 to 6. Well, 9 to 9:30 is quiet, 4:30 to 6 is quiet. So we
Okay.
changed, and now in the new year we started with 2 shifts, 9:30 to 12, 9:30 to 1 and 1 to 4:30.
That's good. That's
So the volunteers worked with that.
Yeah.
There was a couple maybe openings then because we didn't have the evening shift. No worries, they'll do a week about
So
or whatever.
nice.
And I mean, there's lots of times too when someone gets ill or someone goes on vacation. So yeah, so we have it. So right now it's 9:30 to 4:30 and Saturdays 12 to 4.
okay.
Yeah.
And I find in the last number of years, like it's evolved so much. Like the things are so beautiful.
Oh
Not
my
that
gosh.
there was always nice things in there, but
Oh.
it now it seems like
Boutique?
a boutique. Exactly, a
Yeah.
boutique.
Gorgeous.
Rather than
We love it.
I guess maybe a typical hospital
I know.
gift shop. Now it feels like a boutique that happens to be in the hospital.
That's right. And I think, as you alluded to, that all these volunteers are so willing to take part and become part of the picture, that they have a great manager.
Yeah.
Don't you think that you're surrounded, what do they say, you're as good as the people that you surround yourself with?
Yes, absolutely.
And you
They
please
love
them
it.
and you set
Yeah.
that morale, and I think that's what makes everything work very nicely in a workplace or any setting,
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
who's in charge.
Absolutely, yeah. Let's talk about the auxiliary too. Like over the last number of years, what are some of the projects that you've been part of that you're proud of, and like dollars raised, all that kind of stuff?
We have raised a number of dollars, almost 400,000. And for a small organization, I
incredible.
think
Beautiful.
that's since 2000.
Really?
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
That's incredible.
$400,000.
So we bought a lot of equipment for the hospital,
Yeah.
like
Oh.
scanners and scopes,
Yeah,
heated incubator,
beautiful.
stretchers, hospital beds, and we've certainly helped in that way.
You sure have.
We've had, as I alluded to before, we've been able to raise our money through the gift shop, bake sales
Yeah.
a couple of times a year. There used to be a garden tea
Yes.
and various things like that. So it's I was amazed when I saw the amount because, you know, each year you commit to so much, but then when you put them all down in paper and add them up,
Pretty
It's a
darn
lot of
rewarding,
money.
isn't it?
It
Does your
is.
heart good to say that we have this in our hospital because of the hard work of the
Yes.
Big Silver members,
Absolutely.
all
Yeah.
volunteers.
all volunteers.
Very heartwarming for sure.
Yeah.
Well, and we talk about it often on the show because Judy and I volunteer a lot. People don't realize how much of our city is driven by volunteers
Exactly.
and what they truly accomplish in the day to day.
And what you get out of volunteering.
Yeah, absolutely,
People
absolutely.
need to realize
Yeah.
that they
Make
they,
a
they get
difference.
they get back what
Yes,
they give.
absolutely, and
Yeah.
you're very right because
Yeah.
that was that is the thing. Like I found especially during COVID, what was most tough for me was that as Judy and I talked about earlier, get a lot of energy from being around people, right? And so not being able to do that, and not volunteering in the typical ways that I could. It was hard.
Very
You know, I was
Yeah.
missing that little spark,
Yeah.
right, in my little heart.
Yeah,
Me too.
No.
yeah, you
Love your
lost something.
glasses, Elizabeth. They might have come from your beautiful gift shop. I was going to say too that we all have to go to the hospital and see somebody or be tended to ourselves for whether it be an X-ray or blood work or whatever. But the only bright spot for me is either going to brighten up someone's day at the hospital or visiting the maternity ward to see a new baby. Because
Yes.
other than that, there's someone in there that's not well.
Yes.
That's what the hospital's there for. So my bright spot is the hospital gift shop.
Yes.
I go in there and I think, oh my gosh, it's so sad when you have to go see people that are sick. But then I walk in there and I come to life because it's like Vero said, it's not just a little, oh, here's a keychain or here's a little pen or something with the hospital on it. It has everything. Tell us about the items that are in there, just if you can.
Well, we do try to make it a welcoming spot, put some curbside appeal.
Yes.
Because, and the other aspect is the loved ones bring their loved ones down for a break. So they come in and or they'll come, the caregivers will just come themselves. They just want a break. Just come in and talk, maybe just listening ear. But we do have lots of products and we try to make it unique and something that maybe you won't find in the other shops, and keep it current, keep it fluid, don't keep getting the same thing. So anyway, we have our clothing, of course. We have everything from slippers to coats. We have tops and leggings and mitts and gloves and summer hats and hats. So we have that. We have, our prints are huge. I couldn't believe how many, I know we're probably into close to 500 prints, I would say.
And I've bought some, and I love them.
And you go from traditional to crazy. I always think you need a little whimsy in your home.
That's right.
So there's always whimsy in everything that I get. There's regular too. You've got your scenes, you've got everything. But the whimsy, just for the other day, I had gotten our shipment in after Christmas, and it was a cow driving a tractor. I just put it out and it was gone. It was too
goodness.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's different.
We have our purses. Of course, they are big sellers, and we did carry some themed ones, and they were like a bus that had all the sparkles on it, and some of the girls bought that to put their makeup in if they were going away for a week. We had the Volkswagen. We had a guitar that went to Ontario because she was concert goer and her family lived here. So there was that. We have jewelry. We have different kinds. We have a lady from the Niagara region that does vintage. We have a girl from Nova Scotia. She does beautiful sterling silver, and her price points are excellent.
Oh, wow.
We just took on another gal from New Brunswick, and she does, this is very much in now, the clay earrings and the resin. So she's doing that. They're beautiful.
Nice.
Mugs? The mugs with crazy sayings on them.
Yeah.
And novelty clocks. That was the other thing that just went wild.
Right.
Those crazy clocks.
Really, yeah?
Everybody, I think some of the girls did say she's gone off the deep
No,
end
no.
now.
So,
No,
like
but they did. But
octopus
then they
and-
went
yeah.
and they went. We've sold like 40 some of them. So now they want to see what's coming in.
Yeah.
What other kind are you getting?
Of course.
We had sugar canes. They were called sugar canes. The ladies sparkle canes and that. Then we have our staples. We have our, our flour, our waters, our pop, our chip, all your personal items.
Yeah.
Cards, beautiful
Cards,
cards. I love your
flowers,
cards.
yes. So we'd like it to, my goal would be that it would be a go to. It'd be part of your shopping experience, not just when you're in the hospital.
Right.
If you're going out shopping for the day, well, I must come into the hospital.
Well, that's really
Yeah.
a good
that.
point to get
Yeah.
out there because
Yeah.
I got some things there for Christmas and
Yeah.
like they have the man bars of soap. I
Oh,
mean,
they're
Men
beautiful.
are so
I
hard to
forgot
buy
about
for.
that.
Sorry, guys, but like they are
Beautiful
divine.
items.
And that my son said, I'm going to smell some good with this because they're a gorgeous
Yeah.
gift. You don't know what to
Beautiful.
get guys
I
sometimes.
forgot about that. Yeah, that's another big,
Yeah.
big. It's she's got her cleaning supplies, the goat soaps, the
Yeah,
men's
beautiful.
bars, beautiful.
Hand
Beautiful.
lotions,
yeah.
everything. They have
That's a very
bit
nice
of
line.
You
everything.
gave me a beautiful soap for Christmas. Did you get it then?
Yes, I
Yes.
did. Got it there.
I love it.
Yeah.
So again, we want you to know, when you're out shopping, the hospital is not just exclusively, to those that are in there or seeing somebody come in off the street and go to the hospital gift shop, Region 7 Hospital Gift Shop.
Awesome. What upcoming events are coming for the auxiliary?
Well, we've got, our commitments for this year are to a cuddle bed for the palliative care unit,
Wonderful.
which will be lovely
Yeah.
because then the family member
Yeah.
can get in.
Yeah.
And
So critical.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the safe audio system for the MRI. When
Okay.
you're in there, it's just keeps you a little calmer.
That's
So that's a little over 30,000 that we've
Wow.
committed to.
okay.
We hope again to have our summer students
Yeah.
in the gift shop because that's
Yeah.
essential.
Makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, unless circumstances change, we have been preparing gift bags, Christmas gift bags for the patients in the hospital.
Oh,
And this
nice.
past year, we in December we filled 182 bags.
Oh, that melts my
And
heart.
that's only possible because of the generosity of the donors in the area.
right.
And we got a lovely donation from the Chatham Rotary Club, which helped us
yeah.
as well. So those items are, they're certainly on
They
our list for
are.
this year.
I'm thinking about that MRI, I'm very claustrophobic.
Yes.
So the
Yeah.
first time I ever had
Yeah.
one, I thought, I'm going to just stay calm, and I did. But for those who are terrified, what a wonderful thing to
Yes.
have.
Absolutely.
To help them relax, because MRIs are sometimes essential
Absolutely.
to get
No
to the root
question.
of
Yep.
the problem.
Yep.
We're basically out of time. Any last words, Rachel, about anything? Or Elizabeth, I'm looking at you now.
I want to thank the community. They support us wonderfully.
Yeah.
And I'm going to the gift show the end of this month in Toronto, so there'll be lots of goodies coming in the spring. So stay tuned. We do it on our Facebook page too, but yeah.
Awesome.
And we're looking for new auxiliary members.
Okay.
Just contact
Yes.
the volunteer office, 623-3190.
Beautiful.
Give that number one more time. They're looking for more volunteers.
623-3190.
Love it.
So we're good, and you're looking for volunteers too?
Well, right now we have a full contingent, but that can change, and we'd love to have spares. As it gets busy, we could have 2 on one shift at busy time.
We have to go, ladies.
Love it.
Thank you both. Thanks,
Amazing.
Veronique. Thank you to our viewers. Have a wonderful week and safe traveling. If you're on the roads, there's some icy patches out there. Be well. See you next week.